Hey everybody, this is Muffin with the Daily Biker Podcast. Just here to let y'all know the opinions and ideas expressed in this show are those of the hosts and their guests, not to be confused with their partners and sponsors. Now, let's get it on.
Hey guys, this is Sean from the Bikes and Beards YouTube channel, and you guys are listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You're gonna love it.
Testarossa. Stretch. Nap time.
No,
Why do I always feel like it's nap
nap
time whenever I
times.
push the button?
Because you're relaxed, and that is a really comfy chair.
It doesn't seem like it would be a comfy chair looking
No.
at it.
We actually got that at a thrift store. My mom sat on it, and she was like, oh, wow, this is really nice.
All right.
And it was $5.
All right.
There you go.
Otherwise, hey everybody, welcome back to the Daily Biker Podcast. My name is Marcus. I am your clueless leader. Today we're going to go on a learning journey. I have Miss Muffin with me
Hey, y'all.
while she sits there and folds and fixes her britches.
Well, it's hot out.
I'm just kidding.
Well, maybe she shouldn't have wore skinny black jeans.
She's preparing for a flood with all the rain we've had this past
Yes,
week.
that's what I'm doing.
Probably true. You mean all the rain we've had this past week that finally showed up the past 2 days?
Yes.
Yes.
You mean the weather that said it's going to rain every day this past week and then waits until...
Yeah, because we waited to cancel the ride, and it's like, oh, well, you know what? Rain has increased, let's cancel the ride. Good thing we did.
Yeah, because it looked like yesterday that rainstorm was going to come just wash us out the entirety of the ride.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice in the morning. After it had rained the night before, we probably had maybe a 2-hour window, and then that would have been it.
Yeah, we wouldn't have made it. It's a 5 or 6 hour ride.
Yeah, we would have been very, very wet.
But, the South Carolina Brian, because it's Brian and Brian, on the Upchef podcast, he also saw the message. I gave him, we're rescheduled the ride. I gave him the date. We're pushing it for him to try and make it on that one. So hopefully he can, but if he can't, I get it. The man's going to be in Sturgis and he's got a bunch of other stuff going on. So, yeah.
That will be pushing it.
It would be pushing it. It's like, I got back from Sturgis. Oh, I need to go do this and this and this. Oh, I just remembered I've got to go up to Maggie Valley.
I'm going to North Carolina. See ya.
See ya.
Well, I had never been to Spartanburg, South Carolina. And I've never been to Maggie Valley, North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
But I used to listen to another podcast, actually, from a guy that was out of Spartanburg. And based on what he would talk, I would guess there's more in Maggie Valley, North Carolina. Or it's probably a more enjoyable place.
That I can imagine. I've never been to either to begin with. So.
But I just want to say, one of mine and Lewis's heroes does live in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Who?
He goes by Rabbit.
Oh, rabbit.
This man is the epitome of storytellers. You got to watch some of his videos.
Okay.
He has some fantastic stories, but he's I don't know if you. I don't think he has a used car lot. I think he's more like an auto broker and has a garage and stuff like that.
Makes sense.
So, funny too. Freaking hilarious. He also, when they would do the Caffeine and Octane, hosted by Brian Fuller, the one that they would do down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So, Rabbit was on there a lot with Brian. He's kind of a blonde-headed guy. He's got a real scrappy voice, I guess. Someone asks him all the time, they're like, hey, you get your voice like that? He's like, 3 packs of Marlboros a day.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
So, but anyways.
The ideal living scenario. 3 packs of Marlboros a day.
Ooh.
So, today, we're going to discuss something else. Something that kind of ties in with the KTM thing. But before we go down this list, I do want to give some credit to probably one of the largest, if not the largest, YouTube motorcycle channel that there is. And be Fort9. Canada-based. I've been watching him for years. I remember watching him and clicking on videos, and it was like, why does this guy only have 200,000 subscribers? Why does this video only had 100,000 views? It's not that way anymore. Now it's, he's like a little over 1.5 million subscribers, and videos are getting millions of views. It's like, okay.
It's amazing what happens when you become famous and get out there.
Well, so I know the business has grown a lot for them and stuff. I don't exactly know how the way their stuff works. But even if it was on like a large company aspect now, or was, or whatever, the main guy, the one that does all the videos,
Ryan,
he's got the perfect personality to be doing that stuff.
it's a very Canadian personality.
It's a very OG Top Gear personality.
I can see
I
that.
could see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can see
I
that.
think somebody was Top Gear fans. Of course, he's also referenced Jeremy Clarkson before.
Yeah. Well, the way that he delivers all his information, it's entertaining.
Oh, very,
Provide
very.
some entertainment.
But no, it's not an entertainment show. It's an informational.
Just
So-
like us.
Well, no, don't you remember when Top Gear came to the States? They couldn't come here on an entertainment visa. They had to
Yeah.
be an informational visa.
It was like a documentary. Or something.
Yeah.
They had to do a documentary.
So anyway, like I said, I've watched lots of his videos, and someone had reached out to me and told me that they liked the last one that we did. And just to be honest, content creation can be hard. So we're still working on a lot of original content, but this kind of stuff I think is also pretty good because we can kind of give a little bit of our own spin.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a video where they talked about best beginner bikes and broke them down into 3 categories, and we're going to do the same thing and weigh in with our opinion. Now we're going to stay to the American.
Yes. But I will say,
Motorcycles.
best new beginner bike. Something that you can go
Yeah.
to a dealership today
Yeah.
and purchase. I mean, whether they have
Yeah,
one
I'm
or
glad
not.
you said that because we
Yeah.
talked about that on the phone.
Yeah, because we discussed that. And we're like, well, there's a lot of beginner bikes that you can buy, used from the past 40 years. Okay, that's not really, not everybody has that same availability.
These bikes are current beginner bikes that you can go to the manufacturer's website and view
And view.
on their website.
Correct.
So, if you go back and watch Fortnine's video, you might see some bikes that are labeled slightly different, or bikes that we don't necessarily speak about, and it's because they're in Canada.
And if I recall
in the
correctly,
US we
the
don't
video
get-
he did was about 3 years old, 3 or 4
Yeah.
years old. So,
That we don't get some of the bikes that the rest of the world does. So,
small
to-
CC bikes don't really sell well in the United States.
to Copenhagen, Denmark.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's what we have. But you have an American motorcycle.
Yeah, that is true.
So, all right. So, starting out with the dual sport. I personally think for anybody learning to ride, dual sport is a great place to learn because you can learn if you have access to an open field or anything like that.
Yeah.
You're falling in dirt. Just like he says in the video, 10 miles an hour in the dirt is a whole lot better than 40 or 50 on the
You don't
road.
have to deal with other cars on the road. You don't
Correct.
have to deal with other people. There's a lot less obstacles. Trees don't move as fast as cars do.
Right.
So
Right.
that's a lot better scenario if you have that ability.
But
Unfortunately,
remember, trees don't move at all either.
It's a wet.
Well,
So, I've always thought that it was a good place, especially
for someone that has that ability to do so, starting in off-road is probably a good thing.
well,
You can build up
it's a really
huge
good place to
level of
learn
confidence.
clutch control too.
Yes, very much so.
So, but in that dual sport category, there's not really that many currently on the market, on the U.S. market. Probably the biggest selling one that I see is the CRF 300.
Yeah, well, and that's what I noticed too. And a lot of people will say there's probably a lot of crossover from the I'm going to call it, for the sake of conversation, dirt bike style bike, which the CRF is a dirt bike style motorcycle.
Yeah, well, I mean,
But you have a lot of guys that have turned some of these off-road only bikes into, two strokes.
yeah.
Into,
So I'm not counting those bikes
So-
though, because honestly, a CRF 250R
Yeah.
is a lot more powerful than a CRF 300L.
Yeah.
I mean, we're talking a lot. Because you're talking about a race bike versus something that was made to
kind of do both. Be around the town, off-road.
Sustain time.
Yeah.
Because that CRF 250R is not designed to be running a headlight and a tail light and an electric start and sitting in traffic.
Correct.
It's not designed for that.
Correct.
The engine will fail you eventually. So.
And I guess the thought of this to me, keeping everything below... In the United States, a beginner bike is what we commonly refer to something that's probably below 500 cc's or less.
Yeah.
Left of 500 cc's if we're looking at a sliding scale.
Okay.
So...
With right being up.
Correct.
Okay. Just had to clarify.
So something that when I was looking at the currently available adventure off-road dual sport style motorcycles,
Yeah.
I did not realize Yamaha still made the TW200.
Yeah.
And
So
they also make the XT250.
Right. That's what I was going to say. Yamaha actually offers two options and is realistically in the dual sport world.
Yeah.
Now, keep in mind when I say dual sport, that excludes ADV style motorcycles. And even to go a little bit further, when I say ADV style does not necessarily mean ADV motorcycle.
Correct.
Because Honda does make, do they do the 300X?
Yeah, they make a 300X and
So
a
a 300X and a 500X.
I think they may have discontinued the 300X.
Those
I didn't
are
see it there.
those
but
are
last year they had it,
those look like adventure bikes.
but they're not.
They're not adventure bikes.
They're just taller street bikes.
Yeah, it's an adventure styling. It's made for an image. So,
Excuse me.
but we do have an honorable mentions list.
Yes.
But anyways, so yeah, the CRF, and what blows my mind though is that, around here we see a lot of the CRFs. We have a very large powerhouse Honda dealer.
Yeah.
Which puts out a lot of units. So that's part of the reason why we see a lot of the CRFs. But I do see the Kawasaki. So the KLX 300 is the competing bike to the CRF 300L.
Yes. But you know what I don't see? The Versys 300.
No.
I can't say I've seen one around here that's a relatively new bike within the past couple of years. But if we're talking about something that is truly more of a dual sport adventure.
Yeah.
The Versys 300. I mean, that's a...
Yeah, but you got to find one.
Yeah, you got to.
But see, I put the Versus in my honorable mentions list.
Yeah.
Because it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Don't really know kind of what category to put it in.
Yeah.
It's more than what the 300X was.
Yes.
But it's still not a KLX 300.
Yeah, I agree. Well, it's in the scope of talking about beginner motorcycles.
Yeah.
And, if that's the way that you want to take it in a dual sport adventure style, you're not going to go wrong with the Versys. Now, I would probably take the CRF 300L over the Versys.
Yeah.
But it's an option. Seat heights are different. Riding style is going to be a little bit different. The CRF is going to be more of a dirt bike style,
and I do
going to
want
be more of a street bike.
I do want to say we're talking about brand new bikes that are probably at most $6,000. So
I think everything that I looked at was under. I'm going to say under $10,000, because you can get up there with adding options and things like that to all these bikes.
Yeah, but the CRF 300. I mean, they're like 500.
I think it was 62 when I looked.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, because it looked like they were all kind of floating around that 5 to 6.
Yeah,
but I know some, depending on where you find them in a current.
But how much was the TW 200? I was going to say 4.
Oh, if I could find a TW 200.
So I see TW 200s all the time.
Yeah,
they're just strapped to the back of RVs.
Yes. Because that is a good place for a TW200.
That is like the ultimate spot for a TW200.
Actually, like I said, I was really impressed with the Yamaha XT250. That was a cool looking bike.
Yeah.
Now the TW is a classic. The XT, if you wanted something to bop around some trails if you were going camping, throw it on the back of an RV, man, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I would say we also have the honorable mention, the KTM 390 Adventure. We start going from a foreign, non-Japanese manufacturer.
Well, and that was one of those things, the discussion we had on the phone. What point do you sit there and go, okay, this is no longer... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I do consider that Duke 390 to be a beginner bike.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Absolutely. I don't consider a Suzuki DRZ 400 to be a beginner bike.
And that's I have that written down here with the exact same thing
because
next to it.
That DRZ 400, although 100 cc's bigger than the CRF and the KLX, a lot more power.
Correct.
Like a significant amount more get up and go than those other two.
Which, could you, as a new rider, get on a DRZ 400S and be like, all right, yeah, I'm good? Absolutely.
But I'm going to say,
I would not.
If you're 6 foot, 200 plus, yeah.
Well,
you
and
could
I
do
think
it
that's the
comfortably.
problem, too, with a lot of beginner bikes. Me and you are taller, bigger people.
Right.
We don't fit on some of these small motorcycles.
Groms.
Yeah.
You
Me and
can,
don't
you
fit
can
on
say it out
Groms.
loud. It's okay.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
nobody in this room that owns a Grom. It's okay.
Yeah, me and you don't necessarily fit. Now, can we ride them? Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to be comfortable?
No.
Probably not.
No.
Like the TW200. I am way too big for a TW200.
I don't know. I've never rode one.
But you know what? I don't care.
I've never
Because
rode
it's
one.
fun.
Well, it's kind of like I harp on Groms all the time. I love a Grom. Don't get me wrong. I think Grom was a brilliant idea. I have tried to ride a Grom. I'm too big for a Grom. I've got friends that have Groms that go, oh, no, you're not. I think I'd rather have a monkey, though, if I was going that route.
Yeah, which is essentially the same thing, just a different seating style.
Right, but I've been told because of the seating position,
seat
peg
sits
position,
up
the
a little
handlebars, that I can fit more comfortably on a monkey.
You can also stretch out a little bit more on a monkey.
Yeah, well,
the
I
way
can-
that it has that
I can
banana
also
style
put-
seat.
Olin suspension and dirt tires on a monkey and make it a little miniature adventure bike.
Like we saw when we were down there at Barber at the Small War Festival.
Yes. Anyways,
I'd also say for the adventure dual sport, I found the Husqvarna FE350. Now that's more of this is going to be on the top end. This is going to kind of be like right there with the DRZ 400. Whether or not someone should start on something like that. Could you? Absolutely. Should you?
yeah, I don't think I would put it on
A beginner list.
the short list for beginner bikes.
But like I'm saying, it's on that outer reaches. Now somebody that
maybe somebody that grew up riding dirt bikes,
potentially, and that's
for that be their first bike to transition to the road with.
yeah,
Possibly.
and that's kind of what I was saying. Like that's a good
Yeah.
transitional bike, not someone that's never been on a motorcycle before, or any vehicle that's on two wheels. Probably not.
Yeah.
But if you've had a little bit of experience and you're getting ready for your first bike to do that sort of thing with, I think it'd be a safe bet.
Yeah.
But
But-
kind of like it's in the same category as the DRZ 400.
Yeah.
It's a little bit much, but could you do it? Yes. It's I'm not saying you need to go out there and get a brand new Pan America to be your first adventure bike.
I don't know why not.
Yeah, I've never been on a motorcycle before. Here, I've got a 700-pound adventure bike with all the trimmings.
Well, I'm going to say this. If you're local to Chattanooga and you want to ride a Pan America, White Lightning Harley Davidson still has a demo Pan America that you can take
They
for a
do,
rip.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, by the way, this podcast is sponsored by White Lightning Harley Davidson, and we are in the White Lightning Harley Davidson mobile studios. So, moving on to the sport category.
Okay.
So, sport seems to have the biggest segment on this.
That's kind of what I noticed, and I feel like that's probably the big. And when we say sport, we're typically talking most street motorcycles that you think of,
Yes. So,
outside of cruisers.
sport. I'm going sport bike, whether full fairing or non. Sport bike. So, in his video, he's riding the KTM RC390,
Correct.
which is a full fairing, essential, same thing as the Duke 390 or the 390 Adventure
Yep.
and stuff like that.
Same engine frame, just a full-fared bike.
Right. I think that's a good starter,
Yeah.
but still pretty aggressive. The tune on the RC is different than what's on like the Duke,
Yeah.
and it's designed for much more aggressive riding.
It's more sport-oriented, but it's the same engine.
I know,
that's the
but
thing,
it's
too.
still
Yeah.
like, yeah. I've done some research after I watched that video
Yeah.
because riding the other one,
Yeah.
riding the Duke, and I'm like, the way he's talking about it sounds different than that. Yeah.
Yeah. You can buy an RC here in the United States.
Yeah.
They do sell them. They're just not common because
Yeah.
nobody buys KTMs.
And I'm going to put this out there. Depending on where you live and what kind of bike you're looking at, check repair facilities before you purchase motorcycles. There's a lot of smaller dealers that will sell a used motorcycle. They might not be repair facilities. So they might have changed the oil on it to get it ready to sell. They might not be willing to work on it when you bring it back to them, though.
Correct.
So that's one of the things you want to look at. There's a lot of people in Chattanooga that have purchased Aprilias and MV Augustas that don't have a genuine repair facility in Chattanooga.
I think the nearest one's Atlanta,
Yep,
if I can recall correctly.
that is correct.
For that style of motorcycle.
Well, so I mean, Ducati, KTM, stuff like that, Husqvarna. We do have a dealer here
Yeah.
in town that does.
But you buy
repairs.
an MV, an Aprilia, a Moto Guzzi,
Yeah,
even those Royal Enfields.
yeah.
We don't have a dealer anymore here in Chattanooga.
Nope.
So you got to go down to, I think, Dahlonega has a Moto Guzzi Aprilia dealer. But yeah, Atlanta. You got to go down to Atlanta.
Yep.
So that is something to take into consideration when you're looking
Yeah.
for a first motorcycle.
Well, especially if. Okay, I don't want to say if. Especially on the factor of what the keyword you just said, first motorcycle. Because if
Yeah.
you bought something that's a 300 or a 400, you're probably not going to ride that 2.5 hours just to get it serviced.
No.
No.
For someone that has a RSV 1000, it's a different story. They'll
Goes
make
on
a day out
trailer.
of it. I don't know. I'd ride it down there. I'd
Yeah,
ride it
that's
down
true.
there.
That wouldn't be bad. Well, you know, those.
It'd only take 30 minutes to get
Well,
there.
no, they have their private motorcycle mechanic fly up and
Oh,
take
yeah.
care of it.
Yeah. They're not that expensive. Maintenance might be, but the bike itself is
Yeah,
not.
the new ones are.
So, but in the sport category, what's the two biggest ones we see in Chattanooga?
CB300 and Ninja 400.
Is it a 400 now on the Ninja?
Yeah, they don't do a 300.
Oh.
Or at least brand new. They don't have a 300 on their website anymore.
Oh.
Or at least, now that may be for the 2023 model year, because that's what
Yeah.
they put on their website now.
I was going to say,
maybe
I feel like I've seen a
2022. Well,
really recent 300.
They do. Last year they had a 300, and I think they're getting rid of it for the 4s.
They might be. Well, there's some brands that are dropping their 6s, and I think they're increasing their smaller displacement bikes. What's going to happen is they're going to keep going and to the point of where they no longer have a small displacement bike.
Yeah,
They're back to 600s.
No, the beginning displacements can be 700 cc's.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the Ninjas and the CBRs is the two biggest small displacement
Also,
sport
you
bikes
see a
that we
lot
see
of
running around here.
R3s. I've seen a lot of them around.
I've
recently.
probably seen more MTO3s than I have R3s.
Did you look at the brand new, the 2023 MTO3s?
I just glanced at it on their website.
Those look good. I was actually impressed. The new 2023 MTO, the MT line.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, but there's been several
that
times
baby blue
at gas stations and stuff.
teal
I've seen the MTs and I've walked up to people and I've been like, "Oh, is this like an MTO7?" They're like, "No, it's an MTO3." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"What?"
Yeah.
Just mind blowing.
I think they look good. I mean, you know, you have to have the honorable mention of the GSXR 250.
Yes. So you can be a bruh before you're even fast enough to be a bruh.
All 15 horsepower.
So it is funny that, you know, Yamaha's the 300, CBR's the 300, and I guess that would be right because Kawasaki also has the Z,
400.
but it's a 400, and then GSXR comes out with a 250.
But they've had it for many years.
But how long have we had it for?
That I don't know. The only company that
Because you know what I've never seen in person?
250.
A GSXR 250.
Because you don't get any street cred on a 250. Well, you know what they do? They take the 2 and kind of make it look like a 7.
It's probably true.
Yeah.
Or they make it like a Z.
Z50.
It's
Z50.
like
Which is already a model.
GSXR Z50? What?
Like, what is that?
Yeah, well, there's been several companies that have
Yeah.
made something called a Z50. But yeah, those are extremely popular. And you're talking about, depending on where you're at, you know, you can get a CBR 250 to 300 for $2,500 for
Yeah.
good condition.
Yeah. The CB300s, even new, are like $3,500.
I feel like stateside, Kawasaki really started that though with the Ninja because
Oh, yeah.
forever
The Ninja 250 was the
The-
starter bike.
that was the only like sport bike styled
Yeah.
motorcycle.
Because they had the Ninja 250 and then they had the Ninja 500.
Right.
The 500E, I think is what it was.
But I remember at a point in time, I mean, when I was late teens, early 20s, everybody kind of in my group of friends starting to ride and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And like one person would buy a Ninja, basically a Ninja 250 for like $1,000 that was in good shape,
Yeah.
and it would trickle amongst people. Like it would keep going. You'd keep selling it like $1,000, $1,000, $1,000, $1,000,
The
$1,000.
Ninja 250s are always $1,000.
But by the time we got to the last person, though, like the pegs would be like bolts because the pegs broke off. There's no
because
mirror.
the handlebars are gone.
Yeah, it's zip tied. The fairing's been zip tied
No
back
turn signals
together.
anymore. No fairing.
But usually by the time that last guy that got it is the guy now that's riding the stunt bikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know,
He didn't care what
because
the
like,
bike
I
was.
think about it, at the same time, the Ninja 250 started in the, I want to say, late 80s.
Well, it's that GPZ styling.
Yeah. And then the only other thing in that same time period, you had the Honda Rebel 250 and the Honda Nighthawk 250. And that was
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I think the Nighthawk was the closest thing.
Yeah, and that started
compete.
in 89, I think, the Nighthawk
Yeah.
250, the CB 250. And that ran up until 2004, 2005.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when the CBR 250 came out, it was such a big deal. Everybody was
Yeah.
like, holy crap.
Yeah, because they started making it have the same styling that all the other motorcycles had.
Well,
In Honda's
I can't
lineup.
remember. I think Honda did it first, but it was like the Ninja had that same body styling for 20 years.
Yeah.
Then CBR came out and it had a modern styling, and it was like the next year Ninja followed suit.
Yep.
But I think Ninja was the first one to go to a 300.
Yes, Ninja was the first one to go to the 300 because Honda only started making the 300s maybe in the past 5 years.
Whenever they updated the Rebel.
Yeah, because everybody stopped doing 250s and went to 300s. Now we're on 400s. But I also with Honda, they have the CB300. They also have the CB500,
Yeah.
which is a twin. No, never mind. It's a single. Sorry, I lied. It's a single.
You sure the 500's the same?
Is it?
I don't know.
It's either a single or a twin. I can't remember off the top of my head now.
When we need AJ here. He knows this stuff like it's the back of his hand.
Yeah.
It's his job to know this stuff, though.
And, going with the KTM, you also have the 390, the 200, and the Husqvarna 401 Smart Villain.
I'm glad you said it. Because I would have said fart pillar.
Even though it starts with an S.
Is it the smart villain?
Svart SV. Svart Villain.
Yeah, SV, smart villain.
Yes. Yeah,
Yes,
sure.
Just, yeah.
Smart Villain.
Smart
The
villain.
Husqvarna Smart Villain.
I mean, it makes sense to me.
It's the new Minion character.
Anyways,
I do have an honorable mention to sport street bikes. The Royal Enfield Bullet 500.
so I would like to put any classic style
Yeah.
in with the cruisers.
Okay.
I know it's different. I know they're different.
Okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. I'm just,
But when you're talking about beginner bikes,
yeah.
you're either a bike that's like imitating
Yeah.
a modern RR,
Yeah.
a bike that is a dirt bike styled,
Mm-hmm.
or a bike that's just designed for people to go out and cruise on.
Yeah. Okay.
And I think those retro style bikes are kind of bikes
Just go
that
out
are,
and cruise on.
yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't you agree?
I would. I think
Because,
yeah.
you know,
if we're using the traditional idea of sport, yes, and then cruise, yeah, absolutely, I get that.
Well, I mean, because it's like you have there's companies that have been making the retro style,
Mm-hmm.
but it hasn't been necessarily retro style. It's just they never updated.
That is true. Yeah, and that's where Royal Enfield.
So because what was it? Suzuki. They quit. It's probably 10 years ago. Was it like the GZ 250 or something like that?
Oh yeah, it was kind of like a Honda Rebel
Yeah, but it looked like it was.
from 1985.
Yeah, it didn't look like necessarily a cruiser style.
Yeah.
It was more like a flat bench Japanese, universal Japanese domestic
Yeah.
motorcycle.
Twin cylinder,
Right.
250,
Right.
like the Honda Rebel. It looked like a Honda Rebel.
Right.
It was just their version of it, and they rode like garbage.
I think the Honda old Rebel rode like a.
Yeah, they did.
So, anyways, but we can move on to cruiser. But one thing I do want to mention real quick, how we talked about, Ninja kind of started it, CBR come into it. I don't know when GSXR done it because I've never seen a Suzuki GSXR 250
I really haven't either.
ever. I've seen Z400s.
Yep.
I've seen MT-03s, and I've seen R3s. But I remember, I feel like it was just a couple years ago, but it was probably like 4 or 5 years ago, when all of a sudden it was like, here's an R3, and I was like, what? R3? That's cool.
I'm actually going to throw an honorable mention out here because they're relatively new to the markets in the United States. You have a lot of these Chinese manufacturers, Benelli's, CF Motos. There's another one that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, and I can't. But they have 300cc sport-looking bikes.
Well, if we're going to go that route, this company, as far as I know, still exists, but does not build in the States anymore.
Okay.
I know people that had them, and they were actually pretty decent motorcycles for beginner motorcycles. Hyosung.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. I've seen a lot. Actually, there's
yeah.
a lot of them that...
You're right there?
Sorry, my true feelings came out about the
No, I know guys that bought what was it, a little 250 or 300? Like, it was like looked like a full-on sport bike.
Yeah, they had the sport bike, and then they had the cruiser style bike.
The cruiser that looked like it was trying to be a ripoff of a V-Rod.
It looked like it was going to try to be a ripoff of like every real cruiser.
Yeah. So, but on the sport bike aspect, I didn't know anybody that had the cruiser. I knew people that had the sport bike. It's actually a pretty decent, like, they never had any issues out of them.
Yeah.
So I know one guy that broke a clutch cable, and it took him a couple of weeks to try and find a clutch cable, but eventually what he did was literally just measured out what he needed and
then
found what worked.
Yeah, because I'd imagine that there's probably another company that makes for any of these other small bikes.
Right. But that's kind of one of those things where we look at it and we go, what is Hyosung? It's just a cheap brand. And it might be cheap, but there might be 15 million of them in Korea that's rolling around.
But you know what? If it gets you on a motorcycle, it gets you on a motorcycle. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
as long as it
I
runs.
remember having the Hyosung dealer that was over in East Ridge.
Yeah, there was one.
He was in like the front of those storage buildings.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
Goodness.
Because he had dirt bikes. They had the dirt bike, the cruiser, and the sport bike. And they all ran the same engine.
Yeah. But that's you know what, going off that Hyosung, like the CF Moto, the Benelli's.
Yeah.
You know, these are entry-level motorcycles. They're fairly cheap. They're Chinese bikes, which, you know, they haven't gotten a lot of traction in the United States yet. But, you know, I wouldn't count them out if you're looking at something that you're going to start on and then move to something else.
Well, I'm sure in 1960, Honda didn't get a whole lot of traction.
No, they didn't. That was the thing.
I remember 1997.
So you remember 64?
Yeah. No, I remember 1997, 1998. people bought a Kia and you went, ugh. And some people still do that. But I tell you what, have you looked at a Kia lately?
Well, I think that's kind of what I'm saying. Like, you know, they're kind of relatively new to the market. They've existed for a long time. They're new to the U.S.
Everybody
market.
has to start somewhere.
They have to start somewhere. They have to actually build up that reputation in the United States. They may have a reputation in Korea, China, Japan, you know, these foreign countries, India.
Yeah.
They just don't have it here yet.
Well, it's like if all of a sudden Tata start, hang on, don't go too deep. Because I don't want to spoil everybody's wishes or dreams or whatever quite yet. If Tata was selling cars in the States, everybody would go, I'm not buying that. First of all, they are the biggest company worldwide that manufactures automobiles.
Yep.
Okay. The biggest company. Second of all, I can't name immediately off the top of my head, but I'm going to tell you now, they own several companies that you see on a daily basis driving down the road. I think they own Hyundai Kia.
I don't know if they own...
I think they own Mitsubishi.
I know they own Mitsubishi. They also own Volvo.
So...
They own
there you
Volvo.
go.
They own...
But how many people would go, what is this Tata? I'm not buying Tata. But that's retarded. That's a stupid name.
They own Smart... They do the smart car.
Well, that is stupid. So, anyways.
And I think they own Mahindra.
Yeah. I want one of the little,
Jeeps?
Yeah. Now,
For like $8,000?
You know that is a CJ2A.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a licensed copy.
Yes.
With a turbo diesel.
So it is a CJ2A, but it's I think it's the Ford one. I don't think it's the Willis one.
I'd have to.
I think it's on the Ford chassis. Anyways.
But this is a motorcycle podcast.
Yes. But Jeeps. Lewis loves Jeeps. Oh, that's right. Lewis never comes around for the podcast anymore. So we're going to move into cruisers now. So traditional cruisers. What do you?
Two.
Yeah, there's two traditional.
Well, I guess
cruisers
technically three, but
in the United States. Okay. Two traditional style cruisers. Okay, the Rebel.
250.
And the V-Star. No, 300 on the Rebel.
Oh, sorry, I did it. I was looking at it back. I was looking
Rebel
at the V-Star
300,
250.
V-Star 250.
And I'll count the Rebel 500 as well. It's the same bike, just a slightly bigger engine.
Where are the rest of the cruisers?
Nobody... Well, they're old. They're all older. You have to go used. If you want a traditional cruiser-style bike, you have to go used.
You do.
Yeah. As far as new electric cruisers, they're not small engine anymore.
On the new small cruisers, you know, like you were mentioning a motorcycle a second ago, but I stopped you.
The Royal Enfield Bullet 500.
You also have Janus.
Yeah.
I don't know how easy Janus is to get hold of.
I wouldn't even consider those an entry-level bike just because of the cost. Because they're like $12,000.
I was thinking they're a little less than that. But you're talking 400 cc's.
Yeah, but still, it's like if you had $12,000, would you buy that or a CBR 1000?
I don't know. You talking about me now?
Yes, you today, right now.
It might be a Janus.
Okay, if you had started looking at motorcycles.
Oh, it'd have been a CBR.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah,
So, you know, I think they have more of appeal to people like me and you today.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this would be really cool to add to the collection.
A Janus has more appeal to
I don't want to ride
avid,
around.
your avid motorcycle enthusiast already.
Yeah, but not somebody just getting into the hobby. I don't.
Right. So, yeah, it's just mind blowing. You know,
I think
I couldn't get confirmation on it, but the W300.
Yes, so Kawasaki makes a W300 in foreign markets.
Okay.
But I would say, I know this isn't like a small, and I actually had this thought too while I was looking. The W800 by Kawasaki.
Yeah.
It is a 1970s styled Kawasaki with a 800cc parallel, or it's like a 790 something parallel twin.
Okay.
It makes all of 50 horsepower.
Okay.
I would consider that a beginner motorcycle, even though it has a large engine.
But.
And they're only like $7,000.
Imagine W400 running the Z400 Ninja 400 engine.
See, and I think something
Make the
like that-
chassis a little bit lighter instead of because it's probably made out of a heavy steel or
Depleted
something.
uranium.
Yeah,
like the 2 KZs out in the garage.
like
the
tungsten steel or
800 pounds on it.
something. So like hook up with Lightspeed. They're
Yeah.
new to all. Have them make you a frame.
Look, I've got a Lightspeed bike in the shed there. We can
so,
Yeah.
put one of those.
but
So
I think that would sell like crazy.
no, I think it would too. The other thought, and I didn't mention this when we were
I
talking
think
about
you would
sport.
probably go out and buy
I
one.
probably would. And if we're talking about classic style bikes as cruiser,
Yeah.
now kind of goes along the W800. I think the Triumph T100, the Bonneville T100, it is a big engine, but it's not in a performance package, and I think that it could be.
I wouldn't put a beginner on it though.
I would. I would feel the same comfortable nature on the W800 as I would the Bonnie.
So here's the thing about it though. I feel like you're looking at it as you beginning. We are much bigger than the average person.
Yes, but I kind of feel like they're in the same.
Let's look at her.
I'd put her on a W800.
I would not. I wouldn't put her on a T100 either.
The KTM has a higher seat height than the W800.
I'm not talking about that.
The KTM almost makes
It's-
as much power as the W800.
But it's a lot more factors than just that.
And I agree.
You got to look at the weight.
Yeah.
You got to look at the balance points and stuff
True.
like that. It's just
That
like
is
when
true.
people go, "Oh, Sportster's a girl's bike." No,
No,
it's not.
It's top heavy. No, it's
Sportster
not.
is a horrible bike for a first-time
Yeah.
rider.
And I completely agree with that.
So,
But
and that's the same thing with the T100.
I'm
Dude,
gonna
you're
s-
talking. That's like 600 pounds.
But also, your big ass is not going to fit on a V-Star 250.
No, but
You're not going to fit on a 300 or a 500 either.
it's fine when you're talking about me.
Well, I'm talking about,
But I'm bigger than the average bear.
true.
True.
We're talking about her.
But not every beginner
No,
is
but
heavy.
not everybody is my size either, too.
A lot are.
A lot are, but not everybody.
A lot.
But I would say, a lot of these options, a lot of these beginner options are for smaller sized people. And at a certain
Yeah.
point, you do need that.
Well,
that's what I'm saying.
but that's
these are
the
on
problem.
I'm going to say these are fringe bikes that if you're a
Well-
bigger person,
So here's the thing about it. Okay, let me say this. Let's push forward. Real quick, honorable mentions that I had on my list was the Duke 390 and the Versus 300. Now, let's do this. Let's look at it this way, okay? Because I get your argument.
yes.
Here's where I think your problem is with the argument, okay? I'm not sending a new rider out to buy either one of those motorcycles, okay? First of all, they're still not that good for a new rider.
Okay.
Second of all, price point is not necessarily where you'd want it to be for a new rider. Third of all, go pick up a $3,000 20-year-old bike that's
Yes.
that big and ride it.
Yes.
Yeah,
I agree.
that makes
the,
sense,
The
yeah.
third point I 100% agree with. And the Triumph, like I said, the Triumph is kind of on the upper end of
If you're a
anything.
bigger person and you like Triumphs and you're going to first start riding,
T100.
go pick you up a 2004.
Yeah. Well, and that's I was looking because the point of this it was like if I was looking at beginner bikes, you're kind of limited to the Japanese manufacturers.
Yeah, but I think the T100 is like 10 grand.
Yeah, they're expensive.
Yeah.
But the W800 is like 6,500 7.
Yeah, but if you're going to be putting someone at that 10 grand price point, you might as well put them in an MT-07.
Yeah, exactly. But
Anyways, sorry, y'all didn't hear it, but the dealership called me because apparently they can't function when I take days off. So they said, "Where's this form at?" I told them where the form is, and then they were like, "How do you do this?" And I'm like, I start to tell them, and they're like, "Oh, maybe I should just follow the piece of paper that's attached to this that says exactly how to do it." And I was like, "Yeah,
don't find fault in their logic.
yeah."
But-
Anyways,
But I will concede. I do agree that while these bikes are kind of on the fringe,
yeah.
I would not suggest a new rider go out and buy one. But if you're a larger person, you need a bigger bike, and you're looking at only new, okay, that a classic style bike, go ahead. Those are your options.
You're looking at only new.
Yeah,
You're a bigger rider.
correct.
All right.
ZH2.
CBR 650.
I
Yeah,
will agree
yeah,
with.
yeah.
And on that note, The Ninja 650.
Do they still make the Ninja 650?
Yes, they do.
Okay.
They're,
I wasn't sure.
my neighbor's got one across the street, and it is still a new. Well, because they just made the new 650.
Well, I know they have the Versus 650.
Mhm.
Suzuki still makes that SV 650.
Yep. They just came out with the new Z 650 RS as well.
So and now
Classic
all
style.
these bikes are right around the between 7 and 10 grand.
Yeah, I'm going to say all under 10.
Yeah.
Except for the Triumph. The Triumph is kind of the only one that's an outlier on that. But if you're a bigger person and a
At 27.
yeah, and a 300 or a 500, even a 500 might be a little bit too small frame wise for you.
Yep.
A 650 of any of the manufacturers,
Yep.
you're not going to go wrong.
And if you are just a Harley person and you're buying your wife or your girlfriend, or you are the wife or girlfriend and you're getting your guy to ride or something like that, and you just have to have him on a Harley, do not put him on a Sportster.
Nope.
Let me rephrase this again. Do not put them on a Sportster. Go out and find a late 90s, early 2000s fat tire Softail. Now, when I say fat tire, I mean Heritage, Fat Boy, Deluxe, Slim, which you're not going to find a Deluxe or a Slim in the early 2000s, but that's not the point.
Because that's exactly, I was thinking of Heritage.
One of those bikes,
Yeah.
they are low seat height, low slung weight, super easy to balance. The fat tires also make it easier to not get caught in grooves in the pavement.
Correct.
So, and you're talking, 6-7 grand.
Yeah, under 10.
Under 10.
I think under 10 is fantastic.
For a bike that if you have any issues, you can easily get repaired.
Yeah. So, I mean, the list that we've given so far is based on what is commercially available new from a dealership.
Yep.
So,
I want to point out, if you're a new rider. Now, this does not go to the person that their mom or dad has 3 or 4 bikes in the garage already and they're an avid motorcycle rider, because there's a good chance you're probably not necessarily that new of a rider.
Yeah.
Okay. But if you're a new rider, stay away. Sorry, Daniel, but stay away from older carbureted motorcycles.
I will agree with that.
Try and get fuel injected bikes. If it's carbureted, it needs to still be in that era where fuel injection is also kind of a thing. So like my 05 Katana was carbureted.
Yep.
But fuel injected was still a thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, if you're a new rider and you're looking, it is currently 2022.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a first motorcycle, something from 2005 on.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go any older than 2005 unless you just so demand the tinkering aspect of it, then buy a Honda.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to tell you now, if you buy a bike, and Daniel will tell you because he owns them, if you buy an older bike that you go, oh, I don't mind to tinker with it, you're going to constantly tinker with it.
Yes. I am constantly tinkering.
That's what Daniel likes, older motorcycles. This is why Daniel has a lot of motorcycles, so he can always have a bike to ride.
Yes.
You can't deny that because you made that statement the other day.
No, it is absolutely true. Even if one bike is down because I'm doing work on it, I always have another bike to ride.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And they're all in varying degrees of little parts need to be changed out.
Yeah.
There might be a little bit of tuning that needs to be done.
And I think the only bike that never needs any tinkering is the new V-Star.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That one's probably never going to need anything.
But it's
it did after we went to Alabama.
That's different
Facts.
story.
That's facts.
But that's a newer bike with fuel injection.
Yep, that's a 2009 V-Star 1300. It has fuel injection.
Yeah.
It's a belt drive, so there's no chain I need to worry about.
Your Valkyrie.
Yep.
Sometimes you have that tinkering with the carbs or the fuels or the vacuum systems.
Yep.
The ZRX, it's normally tinkering by your own device and not necessarily anything wrong with the motorcycle.
I've never actually, when I bought that bike, I did have the carbs gone through because I had been sitting for a little bit, but other than that, the only thing I've ever done to it is change the oil and put tires on it.
And then the ZRX, it's just, unfortunately, not the ZRX,
KZ.
The KZ. Unfortunately, it's an older bike, right now, and you can go, it's fine. Walk out tomorrow and it's leaking oil from the base gasket on the jug. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
It's because that base gasket's 50 years old. Just decided to give away.
Not on that one. Cause
Well, but
everything.
right.
That one I had the motor rebuilt. But yeah, I mean, it's a potential. It may start today. It may not. But so far, it's been relatively reliable. I also have Kickstart, so that's a thing too.
Yeah.
But and that was actually I was gonna say maybe let's talk about what our personal suggestions would be for each. Not something that's new, but what we would suggest. But I'm going to say, unless you feel
one in each category.
Yes, one in each category.
One in each category.
Okay.
Now we're going based on it needs to be one of those three, or
what do you mean?
Okay,
like
let's put it this way.
We'll do.
Okay, so
since we broke it into three categories,
right?
We had like adventure, dual sport, and then cruiser. What would be your preference if someone was looking for a bike and they're getting into it as a beginner? What would you suggest? It doesn't have to be new, obviously.
Right. If I'm talking to somebody, here we go. Talking to Heather.
Yes.
Okay. Because I know Heather's stature and what.
And she's starting on a KTM 390.
Right. So, in the dual sport adventure world, I'd probably honestly push her towards like a CRF 350 Rally.
Mm-hmm.
Only because that's a bike she can kind of grow with. It does run the same engine as a CBR 300, so it's decently powered. It's not going to be overpowered, but at her size, she's still going to be able to enjoy the bike even after she gets comfortable and moves up. She can keep that bike and play with that bike and go still play in the woods and stuff like that with that motorcycle.
I completely agree with that.
On the sport series, obviously she's on a KTM 390. She's not necessarily on a KTM 390 by choice. It was just...
That's what's there.
It came about, and it was like put right in front of us, and it was like, okay, that's what we're getting. It wasn't that we seeked that out. Honestly, in the sport class, I mean, that's a super cool bike. But I probably would have put her on something Japanese, though.
The CB 300.
I don't know if I would have put her on the CB 300 as much as maybe the MT-03.
Yeah.
I think Naked was still a good place to be.
Well, I think the MT-03 and the KTM are very similar in their overall aesthetic and design.
But I would have put her on something that's major Japanese market, only because in the event that I have a problem or that I want to try and get rid of it, I have a much bigger market.
True.
So, and on the cruiser,
that's a hard one.
Yeah, but I think I would probably find, like I said, an older Harley.
Yeah.
Just because that's something that she can grow with. I know lots of girls that have been barely breaking 100 pounds that have started out on 600 and 700 pound Harleys that were 2005, 2006 Fat Boy. It's because that weight, which you experienced that once you got that V-Star, is way down low. That bike just balances itself.
Correct. Well, and that's I was actually going to go along the same thing, and I was thinking about it. For cruisers, I would say if you have never ridden a motorcycle before and you were looking at a cruiser, I wouldn't put... Now, I agree with your choice.
Yeah, maybe
I'm thinking
look more like a V-Star 650 or 1100.
That's exactly what I said. I said a V-Star 650.
The only problem is with that...
a Honda Shadow 600.
The only problem with either one of those is you can get into the tinkering factory.
Yeah, so that's kind of like that borderline. Those are both sold in the mid-2000s. Like, they stopped making the 650 in 2008.
Yeah.
It was still carbureted, but it's a new carburetor. Everything's
new.
Like
the Honda VLX 600.
Yeah.
Great motorcycle.
Yeah.
It's a tinkering bike, though.
Correct. So, yeah, I mean, the potential is there for tinkering. Mm-hmm. If you get one that's been well sorted, you're not going to have any problems for a long time.
But if you don't...
No.
If you don't take care of it yourself, even if the bike is in premium condition once it comes into your possession, bikes like that, you can't let them sit for 3 weeks and then go get on it.
Correct.
So
Sport.
What?
Ninja 250. I don't care. I know it's carbureted. It doesn't matter what year you get. It's the exact same bike. And
it's because it has that GPZ style.
Because it'll literally run forever.
So
you cannot kill them. They don't even need coolant. Just keep riding it. It doesn't need oil. Just keep riding it. As long as you have a good battery, the damn thing will start.
Yeah.
Just dump gas down the carburetor. You don't even need a fuel tank.
Okay.
You're thinking about somebody holding up a bag of gas.
No, I'm picturing like you just take like a 2-liter Coke bottle of gasoline and just stick it into the carburetor and just go down the road. What I was actually picturing was like, which it doesn't have, is like 4 carburetors. You have 4 2-liter Coke bottles.
No, those, if I recall correctly, only had a single carb.
What's a single cylinder? I hope it only has a single carb.
No, they were twin cylinder.
Were they twin, or did
Yep.
they just have 2 mufflers?
No, they were twins. The Honda CB250s of the era were twins too. Because that Nighthawk that we had was a single carburetor twin cylinder.
I reckon. Anyways, continue.
Suzuki Van or TW200, because you can find old versions of both of those.
Yeah.
For adventure bike, I love them, and I think they're fantastic because even if you technically outgrow it, it's still a unique bike, and you'll enjoy it through your entire usefulness of it.
So, real quick before I move on to the next thing, Heather, what are your thoughts? I mean, as a newer rider, if you had all the money, okay, you're going out, you're looking for a dual sport adventure bike. What kind of bike are you looking for? What are you looking for?
She said, nope, I'm going to stay on the street.
See, I don't really care for adventure bikes, so I can't really. I wouldn't be looking for one of those.
Okay.
I don't know anything about it.
That's fine.
But I mean, this is your opinion, you
Yeah.
know, and every motorcyclist is going to be different. Like we just said when we started, not everybody's looking for an adventure bike, so
Correct.
there's not very many out there.
Yeah.
Sport bikes, the street standards, are
That's-
the
So,
most common.
what do you look for sport bike wise?
For me, my stature, either, I hate to say this, a Grom
Okay.
or like a Ninja 250
Okay.
would be my personal choices.
Okay. Now, what about cruiser?
Probably a Rebel. Because
Older or old Rebel or new Rebel?
a new one.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. You don't want an old.
I
Rebel.
actually like the new Rebels, honestly.
They look great. The
So-
500 is where I'd
It's-
start most people.
Now,
Yeah.
Daniel, I want to rephrase our question.
Okay.
You come to me and go, hey, I'm looking at starting to ride. You're 6'3", 200, somewhere around there?
Yeah, right around 200.
Okay. Now, what am I suggesting for you? Because
Marcus,
obviously
I
I'm
am
not
looking to
suggesting.
ride. I am 6'3", somewhere around 200.
What should I ride?
So, you see what I'm saying? Because
Yeah.
the answers to those questions that we just gave is different for Heather than it is for
Oh
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So, if you came to me and you were like, I want to ride in the dirt, what should I look for? Obviously, I would run down the rundown about how much do you want to ride in the dirt? Is it more that style that you want to do?
Yeah.
I would probably push you towards like a XR650, KLR, something
Yeah.
like that. Or what was the Suzuki, the DR650 or something like that? I would probably push you in those directions because it's your height. You're still going to be comfortable. Those bikes are also mass market motorcycles. So like with the KLR, you might go, oh, the suspension's too soft. That's fine. We can put different rear suspension on it and change those types of things. On the Sport, I'm probably going to push you towards a early to mid 2000s sport bike. Not necessarily a GFX R600 or a CBR 600RR. I'm going to push you towards like a Honda F4i 600.
Yeah.
Or a Katana. Or a Ninja ZZR 600.
Yeah.
See? They're pulling out a name nobody's top mentioned in a while.
Yeah, because my thought would be like somewhere in that 650 to 750 class, where you're not riding a super sport 600.
Yeah.
You're not riding a leader bike.
Yeah.
You're in that
Yeah.
It's got enough
Now,
power,
in that
and
same
it's enough
class-
space for a tall person.
If you came to me and you're like, hey, I've been on an F4i and I want to get something different, you know, the F4i's got good power and I don't really need much more power than that, but I want something newer, I'm probably going to push you towards like an MT-07.
Yeah, and I would agree with that. I think that's a fair.
Or even maybe an SV650.
That's also a good one too that we didn't mention. Now, if you had never ridden before,
Yeah.
I don't know if I'd put you on an SV650.
No, because that
No,
V-twin
no.
has some torque.
it's got
to it.
some low down torque. But
Well, the
if you had-
MT-07 has a little bit more of that low down torque too.
exactly.
But like if you came to me on the cruiser aspect, I would probably not put you on a V-Star 650 or V-Star 1100 just because they're a little condensed.
Yeah, I mean the 650 that we had honestly was fine. It was too small for me.
Yeah.
I would probably try to find something like
Right. That's what I was going to say. I'd probably push you towards that 1300.
Well, they make a 900 that's the same frame, just a
Yeah.
smaller engine. So I'd say
or
something like
or
that.
push you towards. Yeah, but I don't think that 1300 is going to get away from you.
No, it wouldn't. It will.
Push you towards a VTX 1300.
Yeah.
The Shadow Arrow 1100.
Mm-hmm.
The
C50 Suzuki.
Suzuki
it's like an 800 or
C50.
900 cc.
Something along that range, or even once again an older Harley fat tire soft tail.
Yeah, and I think that's fair for a taller, bigger rider.
Yeah,
absolutely. Because I'm not going to fit on a Honda Rebel 300. I just don't.
I want to see it though. All right, let's get into this.
So, just for the end of this, before we do that, what was your first street motorcycle that you rode on the street?
Can of tuna.
So you had
the Katana.
2000,
that was a 600?
2005 Katana 600. So I got it bone stock. I actually got it from a guy that Heather worked with. It was his dad's, and if I'm not mistaken, his dad had passed away.
Maybe something.
Or
like that.
either his dad had passed away or was basically on his deathbed. His dad had got it just a couple years before, so him and his son could ride together.
Mm-hmm.
Blue and white, bone stock bike. The bike had I think 3,000 or 4,000 miles on it.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good deal on it. I paid I think $3,000 for it, and it came with a helmet and a jacket.
Okay.
And he, I rode it up and down the street just to seem good. I had him ride it back over to my house, which was about 5 miles away, only because I had to come through Ooltewah, so right through the middle of heavy traffic. Not having a license, not being used to riding on the street, I didn't want to come through all that traffic. And I was on the backside of Collegedale, so I knew I would be able to go out and learn to ride on my own without having to get in that heavy traffic. But, I got it. I rode it for several years. I think when I got rid of it, it was close to 40,000 miles. I had the seat redone. I had a custom shave done on it. So instead of it being kind of just swoopy, it was more sharp lined. Okay. So it held a little better. Different grips. I took all the graphics off of it just so it was just blue and white. Put frame sliders on it, and Two Brothers exhaust on it. And I mean, that bike was a blast of a motorcycle.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Those Katanas are...
I would love to have another one again. That thing was carbureted, but I tell you, it wasn't. Being in 2005,
it's a new carburation.
it wasn't like it was 1985 carburetor. Yeah. And it was honestly on the borderline because my next motorcycle, which was an 04, was not technically fuel injected, but not carbureted. So it was throttle body injection.
Yeah.
And it had what a lot of people refer to as a choke, but it wasn't a choke. It was an enrichener.
Yep. The 919.
So mine was the 599.
599. Yeah, sorry.
So it had.
I'm thinking Hornet. I'm like 919.
So it had the enrichener. So when on cold days you could get the bike to warm up better because throttle body injection, imagine a carburetor, but instead of jets, it's got an injector that squirts into the carburetor bowl. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, I mean, that bike was a heavy bike.
But you're also a bigger dude.
Right. That's the thing about it. That bike, I'm not going to lie, that bike was a heavy bike. But.
Would you start somebody on it, though?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Anybody my size, yes.
Not me, no.
Yeah.
I would not start
Not
her
you.
on.
No.
Absolutely.
Well, the bike was 550
It was-
pounds.
Yeah.
I mean, the
That's
people that get on a
that's
Pan America
yeah.
now and go, oh, the Pan America's heavy. I'm like, that's the weight of my first motorcycle.
Yeah. Well, and mine, a 2004 Ducati Monster.
Yeah, it's probably not a good choice for a first
No, that
rider.
is not a good choice for a first-time rider, but I got it for kind of the same deal as you. It's like
Yeah.
low mileage, it was a good price, and it was red.
So take your 3 chips.
And I learned when I taught Stephanie on a 1990 Honda 250 Nighthawk
Oh,
that
nice.
is the better bike. That is what you should have started with.
All right, it's time for Chop Ride Sale. This
Oh,
is
this
Jeremy's favorite game.
This is a hard one. Oh, man. I haven't gotten all 3 of these together before, so this is a... Oh, come back.
I got a pretty good layout,
I've
actually.
actually got a really good one, too, this time. This is weird. Did we put new chips in here?
I don't know. Heather's sitting over here going, I hate what I got. Put them down. Let me
Look
see
at
what
that
you got.
face. You guys can't see this in the podcast, but she is not happy.
I'm not happy right now.
She got a crap hand, man.
I don't even know what these are, so it's like, okay.
This
This is...
we apologize for not having.
What I
hair.
would do is Chop Ride Sale.
Okay. I don't know what they are, so I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay, should we start with her?
Yeah, let's just start with her because
Okay, Heather,
Well-
tell the world what your 3 chips are.
Okay, so I have a Trail 125,
Yep.
little Honda
an RF Interceptor,
Royal.
So it's a
or it's
R,
RE,
yep,
Royal
Royal Enfield Interceptor,
and then an R18.
which is the BMW Big Touring,
the Cruiser.
the one that looks
Oh,
like it wants to be a Harley.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so I know what I know what those are.
The Royal Enfield's kind of like a classic style British. Think of like a 1960s British motorcycle, and that's a Royal Enfield.
I know the Royal Enfields, but not.
So Heather, a Trail 125
That
kind of looks like that. Kind of looks like a Cub.
Okay.
Yeah.
Has a Grom motor in it and a
Gotcha.
knobby tire, so
Yeah.
you can actually go
Go
off road with it.
Okay.
So that's
They're kind of cool.
I would customize one of those because
Yeah.
they sell. You know, you can get upgraded skid plates and bags and
Yeah.
little things like that. It's
And I've
still
heard
it's still a moped or a scooter, whatever you want to call it. But I would ride the crap out of
I've heard
one.
It
that you
looks
can
like
fit the
they're
300
fun.
engine in there.
Can you? Be intense.
That'd be intense.
Trail 300.
Trail 300.
So,
That's how we died. We got killed by a 300cc
But-
scooter.
but it's up to you. I mean,
Yeah.
No, because the R18, I'm definitely selling that.
okay.
Definitely. And the Royal Enfield, yeah, I would just ride that, honestly.
Yeah, they're-
'Cause I mean,
They're cool classic style
They're
bikes.
cool to look
It's
at.
like a 1960s British motorcycle.
Yeah.
Parallel twins.
Wait, hang on. You said cool style, and then you said 1960s British.
I find that type of
I'm
motorcycle
playing.
interesting.
I'm playing.
I know you
All
are.
right. So, I have
Defend it till the day that I die.
I have a lovely bunch of coconuts. I've got an M8 Softail,
Okay.
a Pantagali V4,
okay.
and an OCC chopper.
Ah.
I have
Yeah.
a feeling I know which one's going to get sold.
Yeah.
I'm
feeling-
selling the OCC
Yep.
chopper.
I knew that was coming.
I'm going to customize that M8 Softail.
Good choice.
Probably go club style with that, and I'm just going to ride that Panigale.
I think that's a fair set.
That's a good.
Dude, I got
it
a
was-
nice hand.
You had a nice hand.
It was kind of a toss up. I didn't know if you were going to ride the OCC chopper just because it's weird and sell the Panigale. I know how you don't like the Italian bikes.
No, Lewis doesn't like the Italian bikes.
Who?
Who?
No show, Jim.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I
That
forgot.
other guy that used to be on the podcast.
That other guy.
So I've got an interesting set, and I'm very well torn. So I have a Ducati 916.
Ooh.
I have a Triumph Rocket 3,
Ooh.
and I have a Ural.
Okay.
I know what I'd sell.
I'm actually going to sell the Ural.
That is not what I will sell.
I'm going to do it differently because I like the Ural, but I don't necessarily want it. I'm just going to ride the 916.
Okay.
And the Rocket 3, if it's the brand new one, which I get to imagine, with the 2.5 liter inline 3, it's going to find a supercharger.
For me, I mean, if I had a Rocket 3, the only thing I'd do to it is do all the touring accessories.
Yeah, no, I put all the
Try
touring
it.
accessories on it, but I'm also going to find a supercharger because they make them.
You're also going to find that tree that we were talking about at
Yeah,
the
I
very
found that
beginning
tree,
of the
the
episode.
immovable tree.
Yeah, remember, trees don't move.
Quickly.
And they
It's like
hurt.
it's
They
like
hurt.
it's like trees don't move and cars do. You're right. Trees don't move.
Yep.
That hurts.
That hurts.
I know. I found out in October.
Hey everybody, this is Sean at White Lightning Harley Davidson. I want to thank you for listening to the Daily Biker Podcast. You can reach the podcast on Facebook or Instagram at The Daily Biker, or you can email the podcast at thedailybiker@gmail.com. Be sure to keep an eye on White Lightning Harley Davidson's social media pages for the most up-to-date information on all our events and where you can find the boys.